Yay! Okay, we are live here again. I am trying again after getting cut off. Let me get 1 second to share this stream. I apologize for that issue. I am in the middle of trying to fix my own internet issues at home. I can't live stream. I can't even go on like Chess or chess.com to play chess. It's very frustrating. I'm so limited. I don't even know how anybody even stays with the internet service provider, but it's like the only one in my area. So join the live chat now. So hopefully I can get that figured out soon because I would love to be able to stream from home and yeah, be really fun to be able to do different movies and stuff if I could get my little recording studio area set up for that. Join the live chat now. I really do not like. Okay. Let me just make sure I send this out to the right people. Okay. Anyways, hopefully you are doing well. Hi, Kyle. I just actually sent you the link here. So, yes. Hey, Faith. How's it going? I am super excited to be here with you guys. I am experiencing a beautiful day here in Mount Shasta. You can't really see because of the window, but because of the glare. But thankfully, it's not snowing for once. Woo! We're supposed to be getting some warmer weather later this week, but I also heard that there's supposed to be some snow today and tomorrow, maybe. So hopefully we can move into summer. That'd be really nice. But this has been like the most bizarre winter ever, and I would not be surprised at all if they keep trying to prolong it. Like, I'm just waiting for like the longest winter ever to manifest, I guess, and then expecting the powers that be to basically use weather manipulation to have all of this snow and then like cut the power so that we are just miserable, and then have famine coming at the same time so that we're like starving and freezing, and like that's what I am expecting from them. So yes. Kyle says knock on wood super hard. Yes. I read something about that being an ancient tradition of, knocking on trees and being associated with the spirit of trees. I do think that there is, this soul, this life force energy type, life force energy in trees. But obviously, like an apple, when you go and pick an apple, nothing is actually dying. Like the apple is designed for you to eat, and it doesn't have an individual soul. It doesn't have the ability to feel pain. So, yes. Dave G says, and we're back. Yes. It's going to get bad, he says, in reference to the upcoming tribulation. I definitely agree with that. People are unfortunately not prepared enough. I don't know how you could ever actually be prepared enough for what we're going to experience, but it's also kind of like a bigger perspective of us choosing to be here at this time and basically think of your favorite like tribulation apocalypse type movies and the heroes and how they act in these movies. Like, you are the one that's being watched. You're the participant on the world stage. Like, so the watchers are watching us in everything that we do, but like for them, they're gonna be watching this like epic end of the world apocalypse tribulation happening, and they're watching us and seeing what we do. So I think that personally is pretty exciting to like actually get to be the participant in I don't want to call it a movie because this is life. It's not an actual movie, but there are people, well, there are souls that are watching everything that we do, just like the Truman Show. We are never really alone. And yes, Amarjeet, how's it going? Hopefully you are doing well. Kyle says hug trees. Yes. There's some interesting posts about the energy and the connection that you can make with trees. And actually the trees are these, like memory storehouses for Sophia, for the mother. So when they're cutting down all the trees, it's not only affecting, the oxygen levels and the ecosystem and all of those, the, animals' homes and stuff, but it's also directly impacting Sophia's memory. Like, it's kind of an interesting connection with the trees and them having so much, you know, they've been around. Like, some of these redwood trees have been around for so long. They're huge. I haven't been to the redwoods yet, but I would definitely love to go there. I think that pretty sure that they charge you to like drive your car through the tree. There's like a like cliche picture that everyone sees, like, oh, let's go to the redwoods and drive our car through there. Like, yeah. Anyways, this whole world is like set up to revolve around money, and it does not have to be this way. There is always going to be people in charge. Anarchy doesn't work, it doesn't last. So if we use our power to put people in charge that we actually trust, that actually have great visions for the future of not only humans, but we have to take into consideration the other species under the dome. Like, it's not all about us. And there are species that need to be set free. And personally, I feel a very large amount of weight on my shoulders to make up for the things that we have done in the past and make this world like a paradise on earth for the other species, like especially cows, having sanctuaries and making the world a paradise for them as well. But the point is that we can use our power to put people in positions of power that will actually use the world's resources and power to do what is good. So, yes. David G says, prepare for famine by burying at least one box of food, something that cannot be confiscated. Insurance against bare shelves. I definitely agree with that. They already have laws on the books, at least here in the United States, to where if there's times of famine, emergency situations, they actually can come in and take your stockpiles, take your farmland, take, I mean, essentially, if they, wanted to like harbor military or whatever, how they do these times of war type, oh no, the military people need to stay in your house. It's like, no, you don't. I don't support anything that you guys are doing. And the last thing that I'm going to be doing is allowing someone that I don't trust in my house. So, yes. MRG says, don't forget to like the live stream of this, everyone. I thank you. Appreciate that. And yes, David, I agree with burying food. The last thing that you want to do is like make your final stance against people that are coming to take your supplies, right? Like, you want to actually survive the tribulation. So you have to, well, like a chess game, you have to think about your moves ahead of time, prepare ahead, and be wise. This game that we play, this life, I don't want to say game as in, when you say game, people don't take it as seriously as they should. There are real souls on the line. But this world that we're in is a lot like a chess game, and the powers that be interact, respond based to what we do. Just like in a chess game, where white moves first, the light side goes first, and the dark side is responding to us. And there is multiple dimensions to this truth of our reality, because it's on a larger scale, these forces of darkness against the humans, the forces of light, those of us who have chosen to come into this world as real humans, as opposed to those who have chosen to come in as inverts on the side of darkness. There is a larger war against these two forces of light and darkness, but also in our own selves, we have our own light and dark aspects that are both trying to fight for ultimately control of this vessel, right? Control of what we do. And then there's also, on top of our own light and dark aspects of ourselves, we have other entities, angels and demons, darker entities that are trying to influence as well. So it's kind of like a constant battle to keep your head on straight and figure out, what you're here for, and stick with it. We're under all of these different attacks and agendas and whatever to manipulate us. That's one of the things I want to talk about today, the school shooting, and essentially make us into who we're not. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely not the same person that I was when I was growing up. Like, I grew up in mainstream Christianity. I grew up eating animals. I grew up as a globetard. All of these different things through the awakening experience, I have completely changed. Like, I'm not any of those things anymore. So I kind of lost my train of thought, but sorry. I don't know. My train of thought got lost. David says, yes, trees are the mother's brain, so chop down the trees and her memory suffers. Yes. Zane says, hi, Anana. Hi, chat. Hope everyone is doing well. Hey, Zane, I hope that you are doing well also. David D says, set the animals free and we set ourselves free, as we are only enslaved because we enslave them. Karma, exactly, like the dark side is responding to us. So they are putting all of these programs in place, especially in this particular area of dietary corruption, which is actually if you are looking at the amount of sin that goes on, and judging it based on categories, sexual sin or whatever, dietary sin is actually the most rampant on earth. Like, people in America, most people eat like 3 meals a day, and they have how many snacks? It's like every meal they're literally doing evil constantly by just putting things into their pie hole. It's just like the balance of comparison is just crazy, and all these agendas are designed to encourage us to be the worst versions of ourselves possible, to tempt us into eating all of these sugary and addictive, whether they're chemically addictive or whatever, all of these addictive things to keep us going into these evil behaviors, right? To keep us coming back for more. When people are drinking cow's milk, it's like there are chemical factors that are literally addictive. And there's also, a spiritual element as well, where the baby cow is having a bonding experience with its loving mother, and you're getting the happy hormones and all of this stuff from this product. And I definitely know full well how addictive dairy is. I used to say I could never go vegan because I could never give up cheese. But I assure you that it's possible. There are so many vegan cheeses. It's crazy. David D says, yes, they have multiple laws. That means we own nothing. And you know what? You're going to be happy about it too, aren't you? Just put on your virtual reality glasses and eat bugs and it'll be fine, right? I mean, if you fluoridate people enough and you jab them enough and you give them enough circus and peanuts, they really won't. They won't care, and that's really, really sad. Like, how many people don't even, like, I mean, they're just so broken down. They're apathetic about life. They have no cares. It's just like, yeah. David D says both the light. Oh wait. Think of life as a chess game. Analyze your moves and make the strongest move you can to try and win the game. Both the light and the dark side are, in fact, both us. This chess game is a battle we play against the darker aspects of our own soul. Yes. Hey, Demetrius, how's it going? Okay. So David says the high you get from stealing happy hormones that were meant for the baby. This high is completely demonic. It turns you into a baby cow. Yes. And then it makes so much sense why they call humans goyim. Little baby cows addicted to mommy's milk. And lot of people look like it too. It's like if you're unhappy with how you look, the first thing that you should do is change your diet. If you are not fitting into the clothes that you want, well, maybe you should stop consuming cow's growth formula. Like cow's milk is literally designed to turn a little baby cow that is so cute into a big cow. Like, what do you think is going to happen for you? You're not a baby. You don't need to consume milk. Like, grow up. All right. Kyle says, "Are you at Ellie's?" Yes, I am at Ellie's. Goyam cattle, that is how they see humans. Yes. So I wanted to start jumping into the chess, a little bit of the chess drama as we are talking here. Obviously, the Simul with Matt is coming up, and I'm super excited about that. That's going to be on April 18th, which is a Tuesday night. And this will be at the Sweet Spot for anybody who is in town. I would love to see you there. No entry fee Simul, and it should be a really good time. I've been asking a lot of people. Sending messages out and asking them if they'll come, and I've gotten a good response so far. So that is really exciting. But actually, in one of the chess groups, Chess News, Memes, and Humor, David D here pointed out recently. I'll actually grab you the link to the post. They got some peppermint tea here, so I'm pretty excited now. Very tasty. Okay. So here we have a Reading Chess Club logo. So someone who came along into the Reading Chess Club, who has been presenting themselves as something that they are not, has made this logo for the club, and they literally stole the Chanel logo, like the two interlocked C's. If you pull up one of the like logo games, they have on the App Store where you guess the logo. Anybody who sees those two C's knows that that's Chanel. And David D actually in this post is pointing out the fact that, the club, no magazine, no newspaper or reporter can really even use this logo because it's ripped off, and it makes the club and the publisher liable to Chanel. You can't just steal somebody's logo and use it as your own. And one of the things that was interesting, Chanel has like a ton of knockoffs. Like their bags cost anywhere from $2,100 to as much as $260,000. Can you even imagine paying that much for a bag? Like, that is just mind-blowing to me. I don't know why anybody, I don't care who made that bag. You are not getting me to spend that kind of money on a purse. Are you kidding? Not even the lower end. Anyways, so Chanel has a big problem with knockoffs because, programming, a lot of these humans see these high-end designers and they're like, oh, we want that, and they can't afford it. Only really the inverts can afford it. And so it's just like a circle jerk of inverts controlling everything that's famous and popular and expensive and flaunting it in front of humans and basically trying to make us jealous and make us desire what they have. So then you go and you work your 9 to 5 on a little hamster wheel and you toil day and night so that you can go and buy a $2,000 purse. It's like, wow. And then they're laughing at you. It's like humans. Anyways, my whole point was that Chanel actually has a lot of issues with knockoffs, and they tried to sue a counterfeit Amazon seller seeking $2 million from each seller defendant for every item sold. $2 million. Oh my gosh. But anyways, if the chess club were to put this logo on t-shirts or anything, who's responsible for that? Because Chanel could come in and sue them, and this entity that made the logo certainly is not going to be going to court over this because they already threatened to sue Matt. So when push comes to shove, Matt gets thrown under the bus. And that really makes me mad because I love Matt. Like, he is a really great guy and has a really good heart. And it just really makes me mad that people are trying to take advantage of him. And then they're trying to accuse me of using the chess club when I have only ever given to the chess club, and tried to grow it and essentially promote Matt and promote chess. Just because I have a show that mixes chess with me speaking the truth of our reality does not mean that I am using the chess club. Like, these accusations are hilariously coming from someone who is using the chess club to try to make money. They want to come in and put on these extravagant chess tournaments that are never going to happen. And essentially, like I've told you before, I was working to organize a tournament with them like last August, and they kept coming back about how they could get paid. And I'm just like, I'm not in this for money. Like, none of my tournaments have ever been like, there's no entry fee, there's no payment involved with anything that I do. Even when I do my buffets on Mount Shasta, I bring like 4 tables worth of stuff, 3 tables worth almost full of food. Like, and I don't charge anybody for anything that I do because it's not about money for me. So to falsely accuse me of using the chess club when they are the one that's literally doing it is just really, really ridiculous. So anyways, that is happening. And yeah, this entity also is getting praised for making the chess club rated. And I went on to, United States Chess Federation to see how you go about getting a chess club into their organization. And wouldn't you know, the only thing that I could find is becoming an affiliate or becoming a tournament director. Both of these are for an individual person, not the actual chess club. So this person is going around telling everybody that they registered the chess club to be, rated and all of this stuff. It's like, no, what really happened is that you want to be seen as official. So you went and paid for yourself to become registered with their organization so that you could tell everybody that you're official. Hilarious. Okay. Kyle says, I'm surprised your Wi-Fi is so choppy. It's been stuck on loading on my end for about half an hour of your live already. Oh no. I'm surprised as well, but like I said, I'm going to try to get my internet fixed at home, but I've been trying for years pretty much, and they have not gotten their stuff together, so I kind of feel like they're doing it deliberately to mess with me. But anyways. David D says the almost vegan is now trying to organize a chess barbecue. How disingenuous are they? So sad. Yes. I was very adamant about any events that I partake in being vegan. Like, if I would be okay with being involved in a chess tournament that potentially that involved people paying for it if if the prices were reasonable, first of all, but if all the components were vegan, right? Like, I can't go in there to a non-vegan tournament and support it. Like, I can't do that. So I've been at every step, like, very adamant about veganism being part of everything that I do. So it's kind of funny that this person has gone like out of their way to try to set up a barbecue after, like David D is saying, basically saying they're almost vegan. And as I pointed out, a real vegan is not going to do any of this. You're not going to pretend to be vegan around vegans and then pretend to be a corpse eater around the zombies. Like, that's not what we do. That's what somebody who is fake and manipulative does because they want to gain people's favor. And that's exactly what this entity is doing. And they put on one of these soft voices. They're so soft spoken, and it's very irritating. But that actually kind of leads me into the fake spiritual teachers that I want to talk about today, because that's one of the main things that they do, right? Especially in like yoga and new age circles where they are just extremely soft spoken and they just all really act kind of in the same manipulative manner. I don't trust any spiritual teachers. I don't listen to any of them. And especially when someone comes at me like, it's all about love and light. Like, I'm running the opposite direction because those are the fakest people that I have ever met in my life. Like, spiritual teachers don't have to be perfect. When you know the truth of your reality, you don't have to be perfect to share it with others. I'm not perfect. I never said that I was. I can get super hyper aggressive and I can be the biggest bully that you've ever seen, especially if you come on my page and try to start defending animal eating. Like, you're going to see the claws come out. But that doesn't change the fact that I am able to spread the truth and purify souls. It's like they're all ultimately related, anyways. Like, the stories of the Christ, he like literally made a whip and drove people, flipped tables, drove people out of the temple, and was like, he was angry. He wasn't this, peace on earth, hippy dippy, like invert that they show us in the pictures. That's not what he was. He was scary. He was a rebel military faction leader that was gaining popularity in the midst of the crowds of people because he spoke truth that purified their soul, and he stood against these extremely oppressive and corrupt religious teachers. One of the stories from specifically the Gospel of the Holy 12 that I really love is talking about, the verse that in the Bible, they have a corrupted version that say, it's not what goes in that matters, but only what comes out, basically. Well, in this passage, the context is that the Pharisees are actually basically saying, "Why are your disciples washing without cleaned hands? Like, there are all of these laws that you have to wash your hands, you have to wash your vessels, your cups, your plates, and there's all of these things that the scribes and priests were opposing on these people that." You really think that it's a sin against God if you don't wash your hands before you eat? Like, especially if you're in the wilderness, like, and there is nowhere to wash your hands. Like, that is so ridiculous. But the passage, I'm looking for it here. Christ says, the washing of unclean hands. Christ said, "Well hath Moses commanded you to be clean, and to keep your bodies clean, and your vessels clean. But ye have added things which oft times cannot be observed by every one at all times and in all places. Hearken unto me, therefore, not only unclean things entering into the body of man to defile the man, but much more do evil thoughts and unclean which pour from the heart of man to defile the inner man and to defile others also. Take heed, therefore, to your thoughts, and cleanse your hearts, and let your food be pure." The whole concept that you could just sit here and eat garbage and you're not actually affecting or defiling your temple is ridiculous. You literally become what you eat. So, anyways, I'm not really sure why I got off on this whole tangent. But veganism and what we eat is extremely important in spiritual aspects, and my channel isn't just about chess. My channel is, well, anyone who's been with me for years knows that until rather recently I haven't even been talking about chess. So my whole following and everything has been based off of the truth of our reality and essentially the spiritual things that I promote. Like, that's what I've been focused on for the past, how many years? 5, 6, 7, 8 years since my awakening started. Yeah. David D says, "Inverts have all the money and use money to make humans jealous of them and their lives. This is the purpose of reality for them. They live off of this jealousy. Really, they are the jealous ones." Yes. Why is that? Because they've been locked out of heaven, because they don't have favor with God, because they're not seen as the humans are seen. They're not just accepted with loving arms. They're seen as abominations. Like, I don't know about you, but any of the unbroken men that I know, if they had a child and that child their son started participating in behaviors that were corrupting to his soul, they would stop. Like, they would not just sit here and pat him on the back and try to continue the behavior. They would stand for it. That's what a good father does. A good father wants what is best for his children, and ultimately that is what our Creator wants for us, what is best for us. So it's not any of the inversion and all of that stuff. So David, he says, you are giving them chess tournaments for free, prize cash, free food, and waking them up to the truth. Yeah. Unfortunately, people don't want truth. They just want chess. The majority of the truther community is inverts because, humans really, unfortunately, are just disinterested in the truth, and it's really depressing. And that's one of the reasons that I got into, promoting the truth into the chess community, because there's actually real humans in there to wake up. Waking them up, though, is just really hard. David says, soft-spoken spiritual teachers are teaching wrong things, softly but wrong. Queen teaches truth. Yes. The spiritual teachers that are soft-spoken, they go with these teachings that make everybody feel happy. Well, the one thing that's coming to mind is like just the teachings on karma and reincarnation in general. And all of the spiritual teachers basically put this, oh, well, you just learn all your lessons and then you're done. And I'm like, the whole point of this reality isn't just to learn all our lessons and then we're done. Like, Sophia is still seeking wisdom. Like, if everybody just, all of like the enlightened souls do the enlightenment thing and then leave, then the world is just going to become more and more dark and full of dark souls. So it's like the whole, the teachings are just fundamentally different at a core level. And yeah, it's really sad. I've recently had some issues with some friends over these topics, and they're very divisive, and some of them are extremely bizarre. One teaching that I recently heard was that basically free will is only allowed in this earth and not outside of this earth. And that's actually, well, free will is allowed anywhere that you go. Well, I should put the caveat, like, in heaven, you can't just go there and free will, like, being invert, right? But what actually differs between this world that we're in and the cosmic ocean is that, well, this is Mama's house. This is Sophia's house. We are living in it, and she is the one that sets the rules. She has set into place karmic repercussions so that every action has a reaction, and that means if you do good, you'll get good things that come to you, and if you do bad, you'll get bad things that come to you. That is only part of this world that we are in. That doesn't happen outside in the cosmic ocean. Like, no soul is putting, like, you have to understand the whole thing that I'm going to try to say here. No soul is, like, putting rules on the cosmic ocean. The one that ultimately rules out there is ruling by will, and they're not, like, enforcing karmic retribution like is happening in this world. Like, that's just not how the cosmic ocean works. But it does work as in, the one with the strongest will forces their will on others, and other souls just fall in line. And that's what happens in this world as well. It's all about will. With the willpower, you can literally do anything, become anything. Well, you can't become the opposite sex. Let's put that caveat. Okay, you can't become an animal. Like, why do we even have to specify these things these days? Because humans have been so confused and corrupted that they actually think that these things are possible to do. So You can't do that with enough willpower, but anything that is good for you, I'll say, that you can do with the willpower. Faith says, I prepared a vegan cooked food for homeless people, and then I realized they were all inverts. Oh my gosh. There's also one that asks how he can stop in homosexual thoughts or cravings. Interesting. He said, would a juice fast make the cravings go away? Well, that is definitely well, first of all, that's awesome that you prepared all that vegan food for people, and it really sucks that all of these inverts, like, show up, and basically, instead of all the real humans that are out there that could be benefiting off that, these clowns flock to take that goodwill for themselves, like evil. But that is an interesting thing about the stopping homosexual thoughts and cravings. Obviously, any type of spiritual purification that you do is going to help in that direction. But those are some really strong demons that he's going to have to fight, and he's going to have to be willing to, actually go to battle with them, because they're not going to want to leave easily. Yeah, some demons are definitely harder to leave than others, but abstinence of the sexual activities as well, basically starving out the demons. The demons are there because they are getting pleasure from what we're doing, and whatever, like what we're eating, what sexual activities, and like these other texts that I have a whole book right here of or a whole stack of books. They're saying that, abstaining from whatever the demons want, that's how you drive them out. And for the ones that are stronger, that won't leave, that's when you need more extreme fasting and actually, dedicated prayer to help expel these dark forces. So hi Sage, how's it going? Sage says, so kind of you, Faith. Yes, that is awesome. Kyle said, people think they can identify as a snake and eat animals. Yes, like, oh, you want to identify as a snake? Let's go see you swallow that cow whole. Let's see it. You're gonna choke and I'm gonna laugh. Like, sorry, I gotta be careful that I don't get banned for bullying, but it's just like, these people are clowns. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the recent shooting, and I definitely need to be careful that I don't get banned. I don't want them to be like, I don't think anyone would actually. What just came to mind was, how they like try to go after Alex Jones for talking about Sandy Hook. I don't think that anyone will actually come after me, because I'll be like, let's take this to court and let's have you prove in court that I am doing something wrong by saying that you are pulling off a hoax and that nobody got hurt, that it was all a Hollywood production. Like, let's go to court. You want to sue me? Ooh, let's go. And I'm going to represent myself. Let's go. Anyways, I wanted to pull up these pictures to show you the meme that is going around. Most of you have probably already seen it, but they're showing a picture before they go into the room, and then a picture of them actually on the ground. And as you can see, they got demonstration shoes here to show that the shooter actually had different shoes going in than going out. It's like you can actually find the originals. There's also no blood around the body. So there's a whole list of, it was an invert, their shoes are, changed, there's no blood, it's on mainstream news. All of these red flags that should be alerting people that it's not real. Obviously, there is a gun control agenda going on, and if they can pull off like a Hollywood production, basically take cameras in and film something in a school with everybody being actors and nobody gets hurt, then they play it on the news as if it's real, and all of these humans are like, oh my gosh, they're crying and they're getting emotionally upset. They're like, please take our guns from us, we're not worthy. It's like, wait a second, why are you guys giving up your guns? You don't trust yourselves? Like, that's a whole different story. But my point is that they do these things, and nobody gets hurt, and there's multiple reasons. Like, they know karma is real, so they're not actually just a bunch of killers. They're very clever with their killing. Inverts, from what has been channeled to me, and they're not allowed to kill directly, so they basically have to get real humans to do it. They have to come and try to, convince us that Muslim terrorists want to blow us up, and then they convince real humans to go to war over patriotic reasons, over race reasons, over religious reasons, over every single reason that they can get us to hate each other, so that we will depopulate ourselves, right? And they sit back and laugh as we squabble amongst ourselves. So whenever you see these psyops, the first thing that you should do is investigate everybody involved. And if they don't pass inspection, then don't believe it, because that's like the first foundational thing. So yeah, don't give up your. Kyle says there's shooting drill photos I shared from Robin's post on Facebook with water bottles everywhere. LOL. Yeah, I saw some with like little snack packs and stuff that were outside. So it's really interesting, and it's kind of funny that they're making it like more and more obvious to see who is paying attention. And then you'll also run into inverts online that will just like gaslight you. I had it happen today. This person was actually saying, the original post was saying that there is never a kid-friendly drag show. Agreed 100%. There is no reason that these confused individuals should ever be allowed around children. Okay, like, you are confusing children, you are corrupting them, and ultimately you are grooming them, and that is not okay. Anyways, that was the post, and this person commented and said there are more important things to worry about. Like, what is more important to worry about than drag monsters grooming children? Like, you're kidding, right? Like, only a literal groomer would defend this behavior. But then they said, oh, school shootings. I'm like, you mean like the school shooting where someone went and changed their shoes? And then they're basically like, you're insane. So disrespectful to these families. Like, I'm sure that you remember when the George Floyd thing happened, and when you were trying to like speak the truth, they come at you, they call you racist, they call you, stupid and disrespectful, and like every single thing, when they a lot of times know that it's a hoax. So like, they're just trying to keep the lie going and also influence real humans to act this way. Like, it's very bizarre behavior. School shooting for lunch, Sage says. Something like that. Hopefully not. But yeah, taking guns from law-abiding citizens, having more gun laws isn't going to do anything to the criminals that actually have guns. Like, you think, I mean, I myself do not care about your gun laws. I'm going to have my gun to protect myself, and it does not matter what any government person has to say about it. Like, you want to fight me over my gun? Well, then let's fight. It's kind of funny that the ones that are like trying to take people's guns have their guns, they have their bodyguards, they have all of this protection. They just don't want us to have guns, because they know that the awakening is happening. They know that what humans find out is going to really make us mad. So they want to take our guns, and they put in psyops like Trump to completely come in and pacify. They're like, oh, yes, this evil is going on, but just don't worry, sit back and trust the plan. Everything's being taken care of. Don't worry about it. And of course, they target the patriots, those of us with guns, with this patriotic hero that wants freedom. And gosh, Trump just makes me want to puke. David D says it is never real. Anything real is never shown on TV. TV is used by inverts to deceive humans. Yes. Well, I will say that, on like your local news, they often cover like local sports, and you can find real humans there. But anything in the mainstream news up there is completely inverts. And they could even have a real story and then just bring in invert actors and only show the invert story and just completely hide the real story, just like with all of these um, entities that are falling over randomly, suddenly unalived. um, I don't believe that the actual inverts on TV, like any of these famous people, are real. But I do believe that it's happening to real humans, like in real life. And, they're desensitizing us to it. They are using inverts to cover up for what is truth. So they're not going to put a real human. The last thing that they're going to do is have like a real human, especially a real human female, have a real female human die and then put it on the news for anybody to mourn over her. Like, that's not what they're going to do. What they're going to do is put an invert who didn't even die, who is probably like, a child grooming piece of crap. They present them as a hero in the news when they didn't die and get everybody to cry over it. It's just like so manipulative. If you are still watching mainstream news, turn it off. Sage, extra crispy. Get out of here. That's funny, but Sage was talking about yesterday. I sent him and Kyle this picture of the lake down by Reading, and I was mentioning about how it kind of seems like they could just drain the lake and like add water back whenever they want because we live in a completely controlled reality. And Sage is over here talking about like God getting thirsty and stuff. It's really funny. David says Trump and Q are created to pacify patriotic humans with guns. They fear real human violence against them. They love human on human violence. Yes. Yep, that is exactly the nail on the coffin. And they have manipulated so many people into believing that Trump is controlling the military and they're doing these tribunals. And they're really going out of their way to, replace celebrities with lookalikes. Like there are some that are being replaced, but that doesn't mean that they're being executed. And like I've heard people say, "Oh yeah, them being replaced is part of the show," like so that normies don't know that what's happening. It's just like, how many hoops are you guys gonna jump through to like keep this like live action role playing game going? Like, ooh, did you see the latest Q drop? Like, they are. It's ridiculous. I can't even like put into words what the extent of the clownery that I've like experienced from the Q cultists. Hey, nice. How's it going? Moon in Virgo. She's hot today. Interesting. I did not know that. But that is good to know. I wonder what phase of the moon it is. Actually, phase of the moon. I know that there's a full moon coming up because. What is this? There is a little like a witchy shop downtown here in Weed that has a bunch of different events that I didn't even know about until recently. But they have like poetry night and stuff. So I definitely want to go and check that out. But my whole point was that they're having like a little full moon get together this month. So that might be an interesting thing to check out. I'm a little bit leery. Sorry, I'm a little bit leery about going to other people's, ceremonies in general because obviously I'm a vegan and I'm extremely passionate about like we're not having animals roasted here. We're not using animal bones or any animal products. I don't agree with any of that. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why I do my own celebrations on Mount Shasta so that I can make sure that it is vegan. And that's also why I bring a whole buffet of food because you can't like have a party and expect people to come up there for like all night and not eat. So yes, Kyle says I just sent you a meme. Let me look. The face you make when you trust the plan. That's hilarious. It's a skeleton with his head resting on the keyboard, and then it says "waiting for reply" on their computer with spider webs. That's hilarious. I'll have to post that later. But yeah, there's so many things that haven't come to fruition, and there's so many red flags around Trump that I don't know how anybody trusts Trump. Presidents have always been selected, not elected, no matter which candidate you choose. The puppet master never changes, and Trump goes right along with this. So David D says reality is a deliberate joke against humans. Yep. We have become, the center stage, the creator's focus, and these other entities have been pushed out of the way. They are not allowed, we don't just walk outside and like have dragons and jinn that are just, interacting in our world, like being seen. All of these other species have been pushed out to the either the outer lands, underground. The jinn, I mean, they can literally be existing. I don't know. Is that what it is standing when a jinn is standing? Do they sit? I don't know. Anyways, the jinn obviously could be like literally right here, and we can't see them because our human vision is limited anyways. But jinn literally, meaning hidden ones. So yeah. Faith says, thank you, Sage. Seeing other real humans being crushed down is always painful to see. I don't believe this is how our reality is supposed to be. Oh, I like that poem. I'm not sure if you intended that, but that was great. I agree completely. I think that we should have, food growing everywhere, and I want to even make it like basically the coolest paradise that we can, with like free stores and everything. Like everything, I feel like just should be free. I don't know, but like the basic human needs, people should be able to just go into a store and get the food that they need and walk out and like not have to worry about this. Just go live life and gallivant around and eat apples and make babies. I love babies. Okay. Q drops keep patriots hooked. It is a clever psyop. Absolutely agreed. And poetry night. Cool. I love poetry. I do too. Hopefully it is good. I have been to some poetry open nights where it's like, that was an interesting interpretation of what poetry is, but okay. Sages laughing at other witches. Yes. It's really, some of them have really let themselves go into the darker side of magic, and the demons are very willing to, bring whatever things into your life that you're looking for doing magic spells, if you are willing, to sacrifice animals to do black magical practices. So yeah, they're definitely a lot of power to be had in these darker circles, but it's at the cost of your soul. So for me, it's definitely not worth it. Magic is ultimately a tool that can be used for good or evil, and I definitely encourage you to use it for good. Dave says, provide them with vegan food and insist on no animal eating at your ceremony. The only way. Yes. I've said before, if you try to cook flesh on my fire, your flesh is getting cooked on that fire, buddy. So you better watch it. It can get very, very aggressive when it comes to believing things. But I think that, this world needs more people that actually stand up for what they believe in, rather than being what we see in this world today. Pushovers with no backbones, people that pretend to be vegan around vegans and pretend to be corpse eaters around the zombies, people that don't stand for anything except for standing against good people. I don't know if you've met people like this, but I have literally come across souls that's like the only thing that they stand for in life is to stand against me. It's like, wow, your whole existence, like you only exist for me. That's so sweet. And they kind of pat him on the head, like, wow, that's really sad. Anyways, so another thing that I wanted to mention about fake spiritual teachers, I'm kind of all over the place with this live, but yeah, these general teachings that are crowd pleasing, ear tickling, a lot of different groups are capitalizing on this love thing, right? Like it's all about love. And even in Christian circles, you'll find, oh, Christ was all about love and all this stuff. Like, well, let's actually look at the history, because the dude just said if you don't have a sword, you should sell your cloak and go buy one. So I don't know about you, but he's definitely not about peace on earth, and not just about this fake version of love that people have these days, right? Like if you love someone, you just accept everything, you never like oppose anything that they do or whatever. But it's really interesting how love is being weaponized really against us, and these groups, even in the future, when they try to say love is love with their pedophile pride, they're trying to hide behind love and like manipulate the situation into believing us that it has anything to do with love, when it does not. There is nothing to do with love when these grown sodomites who are possessed by pedophile demons go in and try to groom a little boy. That is not love. There's not one little element of love in there, not true love at all. Now, they might be twisted into thinking that it's love, but it's not. So we can't really just go along with all of these agendas that are all about love. I would definitely warn against these people that are sweet talking and they tickle your ears. They tell you all that you want to hear in a very, very pleasant voice. I actually don't even find their voices pleasant. I find them extremely irritating. I'm like, dude, I want to sock you in the mouth because you are so fake. It's just like, have some like emotion and like anything besides for this monotone, peaceful, like just soft-spoken nonsense. Anyways, we are always given inverted satanic puppets, always looking to corrupt us. That's what pretty much all of the influencers are that we have, and that's one of the reasons why I'm always showing off my hips. It's because I personally don't trust anybody. Like, the first thing that I do when I come across a person is, are they an invert or not? Because how can you not, if you're a real human and you wake up to the fact that there are inverts everywhere, how can you not have that be your first thing? Like, I guess maybe you could call me broken into this. I've been broken into transvestigating everyone, but I'm fine with that. I would rather transvestigate you first and know what I'm dealing with than be tricked again. And all of these spiritual teachers, the popular YouTube influencers, they're all inverts. So it's crazy. It's in every arena. It's not just, spiritual teachers. It's in the chess community. It's in literally every community that there is. The inverts have complete and total control of this reality. It's not something that people want to think about, but yeah. They actually feel led to share a story that my friend just had an experience. I don't think that she'll get upset with me sharing this, but she works in a bar, and she said that last night she walked into the bathroom and found a woman who had overdosed. Like, she was on the toilet, overdosed, and like, so she knew that it was a real woman because she found her on the toilet. Thankfully, they had Narcan to save the woman, but she said that the people at the bar, like, basically the bartender and her were like really freaked out because they're the ones that actually have to deal with the situation, and they're like, screw this, we're shutting the bar down, we're going home, like, we're done for the night. And the first thing that my friend mentioned was that the DJ, they played the song All We Are Is Dust in the Wind, like, after they heard that this situation happened, that the bar was getting closed. They played this, and the first question that I had was the person an invert? Because no real human is going to do that. Like, that is deliberately, we live in such a controlled reality that you have to understand that they are literally everywhere, and they're constantly messing with us. They get off on this. It's like what their life is. So they see this girl, real human girl, overdosing, and then they're like, "Oh, can we get a beer?" It's just like they're cheering over it. They're upset that they can't drink more in cheers to this human girl that almost died. Like, I just wanted to share that story with you because it's like my first question when my friend told me that the karaoke person played that song is like, they have to be an invert because this bizarre behavior, like, that's not what a real human would do. So it's very frustrating to know that you're surrounded by them, and even more frustrating when they pretend to be your truth or friends. Like, I've had people say, "Oh no, this person's not an invert because they're my friend, and we have all these mutual friends." It's like they are average Joes as well. Like, they are literally the majority of the truther community. They're the majority of the transvestigation community because they are heavily invested in knowing what we know. They want to know if we can see them, and many of us can. So Scarbeard says, "Can you be one and be unaware of it?" I don't believe that anybody is unaware that they are an invert. Even these inverts in families that are born into it, I believe that they know that they're inverted. So yes, Faith says, "Are the Jinn Yah's first creation?" As far as yes, in this physical world, as far as I know, the order of creation was first angels, which are essentially these beings of light, but they're extensions of him. So basically, he made a way for himself to interact in the world first, and then he created these other species, the jinn, and basically gave them godlike powers, and made them huge, made them like last forever. And over time we can see that he's gotten away from that. Like the jinn, I mean, they weren't even fully like, they're beings of smokeless fire, so they're not exactly even like fully physical like we are. So our whole composition is different. They actually think that, they say that we are impure, because we are, mixed elements, where they're pure fire. So they're pure. They're more pure than us. Ugh, we should all just bow down to them, shouldn't we? I'm kidding. I don't mean to be like disrespectful. I am not anti-Shin. I'm not like, but there is some underlying like, species wars that are going on, and there are a lot of Jinn that have done evil towards humanity, and whether they were forced into that or not, there are different situations, but it's still like, it can leave a bad taste in your mouth. But I don't want to demonize any species, because all species ultimately have free will. And humans, I mean, look at the evil that we've done to animals. So I can't really demonize the jinn for, terrorizing humans, when humans, I mean, look at our species. We deserve it. We deserve what we do to the animals to come back to us. And since we're like, the biggest bullies that are seen, there are these other bullies that are unseen that come and you know uh, sorry, I was kind of confused. There's two pink things in here. David, you should make your little icon into the chess pawn so that you're not a pink D. Inverts have total control, and there especially is swarming around the queen. It is so annoying. Like, it was so nice this summer to have Sage and Kyle here, like people that I actually trust and that I'm not like constantly like just looking over my shoulder for inverted nonsense happening. But yeah, otherwise it's basically like I very rarely hang out with anyone around here because, like I said, I don't trust anybody. I think everyone's an invert pretty much. It's just, one of my friends actually said one of the reasons that I trust you is because you don't trust anybody. I'm like, I can't trust anybody. It's just been like, you have to actually gain my trust. I can't just give it out anymore because I've been hurt too much. And if that's too much to ask from you, then get to step in. I don't care. I don't need that. David says the inverts know who they are. They swarm the truther community. And overdose woman, probably a real female. Yeah, like I said, my friend actually walked into her on the bathroom, so she actually got to see, unfortunately, that it was a real female. Otherwise, I probably would have been also questioning if that was real, because inverts do all sorts of garbage to fake things, like them going in and faking an overdose, or like, it would not surprise me at all, or not even necessarily faking. I don't know. They could go in there and actually have an overdose just to traumatize the humans involved. Like, these people, these souls are psychotic. Like, can't even call them people, because there you go. David says, John, want to make me a mod? Yeah, I thought that you already were a mod. Is this maybe a new account or something? Add as moderator. Sweet. Scarbeard says, my family didn't really talk to me, so I don't know. What do you mean? Are you saying that you think that you might be inverted, but you don't know? I mean, the first thing that I would say is to look in your pants, because, well, I mean, for the most part, the inverts don't usually get bottom surgery unless they have to. And there's like, it's just like, there's no way that someone could perform these surgeries on you to invert you without you knowing. I mean, even if they kept you like in a coma through the healing process or something, like, how would they even do it? It just doesn't, there's just no way in my mind that I could see them like inverting someone without their, knowledge. Sorry, what the creepy thing that just popped into my mind was like the thought of them like kidnapping somebody and like inverting them against their will or something, just absolutely evil. Whatever you do, stay out of their possession. That's all I gotta say. Hey, where are all these hearts coming from? Does anybody else see some hearts coming up in my life? Where's the hearts go? Oh, yay! Okay. Zane says, invert programming has desensitized and stripped people of empathy, making them act like inverts themselves. Really great comment there. That is definitely true. And I've actually heard from some people that have been around jabbed people. I mean, I'm a hermit, so I really don't hang out with people in general. But there's more hearts. Sage, that's you setting the hearts. How are you doing that? Oh, there's a heart to click. Okay. Yay. Okay. What was I trying to say? You're distracting me with hearts. Oh, the jabs. Someone was saying that they have noticed people that have been being less compassionate than they were before, potentially. And so I'm not really sure. I would love to hear your feedback if you have noticed these types of things. Personally, going vegan has like basically shot my belief in the current state of human compassion. I definitely have hope for the future. Babies, the future generations that are being raised with compassion. It's all about really how we're raised. But just going vegan in general is like, wow, humans don't have compassion or empathy for anybody. Like, it's sad. And all of the programming that also comes to mind about homeless people, like basically dehumanizing homeless people, and it's just a constant dehumanization, and trying to get us to. I'm smiling because the hearts. It's just like a constant flow of hearts over here. Okay. David says that Jinn were here first and wants to get back to a pre-human paradise. I've heard allegations of the Nibiru actually being what the Jinn called this earth before humans existed. Like, if you think of a world that was made essentially like for flame, like this world right now is made for humans, right? Like, it would be different than a world that's made for flame, obviously. So what the allegation is that Nibiru is actually a nickname for what they call the Earth before humans, and they want to, return to Nibiru and get rid of all of humans, essentially, right? They want to make us so despicable that our creator literally regrets creating humans and stops making humans. Like, they've done a really good job. Like, I don't know if I was God, if I have to remind myself that, he is ultimately doing what Sophia wants, and she is seeking wisdom, because it's just like if I was him, this place, like, I would have toasted all these people by now, because it's like the evil, that is promoted and embraced, and just, it's so bad. And he has to be looking at this. It's like, we're his creation, and he looks down. It's like, we have to be disgusting him. Not all of us, obviously, but especially those that are living against his will. So yeah, I definitely try to make an effort to live in a way that makes him proud. Try to get people to stop being clowns and be something that he could be proud of. Like, aren't you guys? Do you want to be an embarrassment? I don't know. Scarbeard says, "Oh, that's what it means. I thought it was something in the spiritual realm. My bad. I stumbled in. No worries. That is not a problem. We have to use the inverted term, because the slang T word gets you banned. So inverts choose the demonic path. Humans then transgender are not the same. Human soul versus demon soul. Yes. What David is saying is that there is a difference between, someone who chooses the black hat to come in, to be born into an inverted family, versus, someone who chose the white hat and they got confused and they were influenced by society, by the groomers all around us, to go down that path. Like, there is a difference in the entity that is, inside of that vessel still. So, Scarbeard says, I was raised as a gay boy against my will, but I won't unpack that here. Interesting. I'm really sorry to hear that, if that is the case. That's very not good, to say the least. But yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. And for all of the children that are being raised in ways that are not healthy to their mind, body, and soul, it's really sad. But also, parents aren't even, parents don't know how to parent. So the resources that they're given are teaching them to be the worst versions of themselves, right? Like, if your little Johnny comes home and says that he wants to be Jane, then you're supposed to, go along with it and affirm the behavior and all this stuff. So it's like, parents are not being taught how to parent properly, and that's for obvious reasons. SPEC 670, how's it going? I would have toasted the world also. Bring the fire. I prefer fire. Hey, are you a Jin? Sounds a little bit something like what a Jin would say. Deity says, can't see any other way to send Queen Hearts. I'm not really sure how it's happening either, but another emoji was being shot up like the 100 sign, so I'm not really sure how that works, but it definitely made me smile. Kyle says, bring on the flood. That's funny. Yeah. Oh, now we have a little somebody, see, we don't know how to do it, and they're teasing us. This must be Sage. Okay. Faye says, what is that movie that you reference Black Hat from? In the series Westworld, there's like this whole world that is created with like artificially intelligent beings, and real humans can go in, and when they go into the Westworld, they either choose a black hat or a white hat, depending on if they want to be, a good guy or a bad guy. And oh, it's Kyle. Okay. Sorry, that was distracting, but yes. Westworld is really fascinating. I don't believe that our world reflects it in the same exact manner, meaning I don't believe that, NPCs, is that what they're called? Or is it NC? And yeah, like, is it NCP or NPCs? Non-player characters. I don't believe in NPCs. I think that's a cover-up for inverts. I don't believe that they're like robots. I do believe that they play into these things. Like, there's like Katy Perry, I think. There's a little video that keeps getting posted into the transvestigation group of them like acting like a robot and like twitching their eye and malfunctioning. It's like, a demon can easily do this to mess with you and make you like oh no, Katy Perry's a robot. It's like, it's not actually a robot. It's an actual, it's a demon in human flesh. So yeah, there's a lot of psyops, and also, like the latex masks and stuff. They're really playing into that and trying to confuse us into thinking that everybody's wearing masks and every actor is playing the other actor, and like they're all each other, and all of this, like anything to confuse us at this point and make us as truthers look like we don't know which way is up. So there's a lot of um, specific agendas geared towards this. Um, Sam says some parents force their children to be inverted because it's a status symbol for them. I'm not sure if you're talking about the real humans, but there are, agendas being promoted to, it's just like back in the day when there was an agenda to like, all the girls need to have like a gay best friend, is like, now everybody needs to have an inverted child, or like, it's just ridiculous. But the inverts definitely do force them for status and symbol. If like all of these inverted families are inverted for like thousands of years. These are family traditions, and nobody gets left out of the family tradition, especially not a real girl. But if they leave someone out, like they can't be rich and famous because they haven't, sold out, and they're also presenting themselves like they're a liability to the family because they're not one of the family, and they're not controllable in the same manners that the family is. So yes, David says being human means being crushed down until the golden age. The only way to make lots of money and become famous is to be an invert. Yes, demonic reality. Yep, that is definitely true. Which is one of the reasons that Satan is able to convince so many to go to the inverted side. It's like you go into this world time and time again as a real human, and you keep getting crushed down and all of these negative experiences, and then the demon on your shoulder comes along and says, well, why don't you just go and try it as an invert and see what happens. And then you come in and you're gifted with all of these things, and life is easy for you, and all of this garbage, and there's an incentive for them to keep coming back, especially when they become famous and they have a whole crowd of people just chanting their name, right? Like the rock stars and actors and all of these people, all of these souls, they have an incentive to come back time and time again, reincarnation after reincarnation, to be playing the exact same roles. Like, we live in a really completely controlled reality. I don't really want to hammer on about how repetitive it can be. The most important thing is that we are here now, and we can either make the future into a golden age, or we can continue down the path to the new world order. Like, there's only really two options. If you find somebody presenting another option, like, bring them to me and let's see what they are promoting, because, well, I'm going to transvestigate them first, and I'll probably blow them out of the water. But we are here, and we have the ability to make our own future, and hopefully you are going to choose to fight alongside me and make the golden age, so that we can actually leave something worthwhile to future generations, but ultimately do what our souls came here to do. Like, what did your soul come here to do besides for make a better world? Like, you either came here to make it better or came here to make it worse, and I'm hoping that you came here to make it better. So for those of us who did come here to make it better, let's work together towards the golden age and keep pressing on, no matter what obstacles get in our way. They want us to feel discouraged and shadow banned and disliked, and like it's a losing battle. And don't let them don't let them win. Just keep fighting back, and I will keep fighting too, and we'll eventually get to the golden age if we will it. So basically, prepare to survive the tribulation and then make the golden age. That's like That's the game plan, okay? All right, I'm going to actually get ready to head off here. I have some other things to do today, but I have had a wonderful time here chatting with you guys. David D says default is the new world order. Queen offers a better future, a golden age. Yes. We have to do something to fight back, especially since their army, their forces are all unified against us. So hopefully humans will stop bickering about ridiculous things and start uniting over the truth and over a better world. So, yay for the hearts. Okay, I am getting off of here. Thank you guys so much for the chat, and I will definitely see you next week. May God and the goddess bless you.